Hey, good morning. Happy Tuesday, my favorite day of the week. Happy to join you guys live here on Instagram. And today we are going to be talking about something that is really hitting home to me right this minute, which is the myth of endless hustle. This was something that I was reminded of just last week when I started feeling this time last week, like last Monday afternoon, last Tuesday morning, I started feeling this very familiar heaviness in my chest. And it is what happens when I know that I've been pushing too hard for too long. Hello. Let's see who's on here. Laura Courtney. I don't know what all your names are, but hi, thank you for joining. Thank you for being here today. So as I was saying, last Monday afternoon, Tuesday morning, I started feeling this real heaviness. And I knew that I was edging on burnout again, which you would think at this point, after 20 years in real estate, running 2 businesses, I would know how to stay away from burnout. I kind of make it my mission to stay away from burnout, and yet it still creeps up on me every now and then. But thankfully, I know what to do about it. And so I booked a trip last Tuesday afternoon and left last Wednesday afternoon. That is not the first time in my life that I have booked a trip and left 24 hours later to go somewhere completely spontaneous. And I was recognizing the signs. I knew what was happening. My creativity was shut down. My patience was wearing very thin. My children happened to be in Cabo with their dad. And I looked at my calendar and realized there was not anything on the back half of my week that couldn't be rescheduled. So I took advantage of it. I booked a flight. I booked a hotel room, went out to Colorado, Beaver Creek, which is one of my favorite places to visit, and a place that I know just really restores me. And that's what I was really, really needing. And so, what I wanted to share with you guys today is, number one, to give you permission that if you need a break, and here we are in a 4th of July holiday week, which is awesome. So I want to just give you permission that if you are feeling on the verge of burnout also, really give yourself the opportunity to disconnect this week. You deserve it. And not only do you deserve it, you actually need it. Because this whole cycle of burnout, backslide, hustle again, burnout, backslide, hustle again. I've done this myself for years. I see it in so many of my coaching clients, especially right now at this time of the year. And the reality is that hustle works until it doesn't. And hustle will get you to success for sure. No doubt. You need hustle to get to success. But the problem and the shift that most of us don't ever make is that hustle alone will not sustain you. It'll get you there, but it won't keep you there. And really building a business that is sustainable long-term is about bringing intentionality and bringing clarity and bringing in the features of a business that allow you to breathe and that the business can exist even without you, because it's so important that you take that time for yourself. And so if you feel like you're not really, you probably know if you're hustling and if you're stuck in that hustle mode, but here are some of the ways that I notice it. If you feel guilty when you're not working, that is a big sign that you are stuck in the hustle cycle. If you flinch every time your phone rings, do you do that? I do that a lot. Get a text, get a phone call, instead of being like, oh, I wonder who this is. I'm like, oh, who is this now, right? If you feel that energy, that is a sign that you are stuck in the hustle cycle and that you are cruising towards burnout. If you can't remember the last time that you truly felt inspired, then you are probably stuck in the hustle cycle. And why do I care about inspiration? Like most of you who follow me are real estate agents. What does inspiration have to do with a real estate business? Everything, honestly, because you are an entrepreneur and entrepreneurs are creative, and creative people have to have mental white space. You have to have space to be inspired, to create. You can, put the throttle down on every system. You can buy every hack. You can sign up for every webinar. You can do all of those things, but you can consume and never actually execute if you aren't giving yourself the mental bandwidth to do those things. And having the time and space to do it comes down to having that availability in your schedule and in your life so that you can be creative and you can be inspired to do that work. For myself personally, I had been promising my team that I was going to work on creating the content for July and August. I'd been promising them for weeks and I hadn't gotten around to it because I just wasn't feeling inspired. I spent 48 hours in Beaver Creek, and on the third day I sat down and I cranked out not only 2 months, but 3 full months worth of content and laid out the overall strategy between now and January. And so really giving yourself that space can move you so much farther forward. And it's not just about, telling yourself you're slowing down and then never actually doing it. There's an actual cost to overworking. It costs you creativity. It costs you keeping you in reactive mode instead of allowing you to be strategic. And eventually it's going to force you to stop. There was a time, probably 2 or 3 years ago. This is embarrassing for me to admit, but there was a moment where I spent probably 5 weeks hiding from my real estate business and doing basically nothing but watching Netflix. I watched so many good shows over the course of a 4 or 5 week period. And it was because I was so uninspired and I was so drained and I was so burnt out that I just hit the point, hi Danielle, that I just couldn't do anything else anymore. My body and my brain literally were like, we're done, girl, stop. And I did. And 4 or 5 weeks into it, I finally resurfaced and I got my mojo back and I was ready to come back to my real estate business again. But what did it cost me? What did all of that non-production, what did spending 5 weeks in bed watching Netflix cost me? It cost me a lot. And not only to the fact that I was not producing and I was not showing up for my team and I was not showing up for my clients in the way that I want to, that cost me my integrity, because I don't want to be the real estate agent that hides from her clients and hides from her business. I want to be the one that shows up all the time. But if you constantly live in that cycle of overworking, burning out, and then backsliding, you're going to get out of alignment. You're going to get out of integrity with yourself at some point because you just can't sustain it all the time. It's not possible. So what we're working on today inside the Elevated Agent Collective, which is my group program, it's my main signature program. It's where I spend all my time and energy outside of running my actual real estate team, the Elevated Living Advisory here in Nashville. But what we're doing today in the Elevated Agent Collective is really diving in to how to redefine success and break out of the hustle cycle. We're going to be really exploring more about what it looks like practically to move from reactivity into proactivity, which also, by the way, comes down a lot to chasing external validation and stopping doing that. I am an Enneagram 3. I don't know if you guys know what your Enneagram number is, but I am an achiever. And so external validation is like what gets me up in the morning. I'm sorry to admit that, but I love to achieve. I love to check the box. I love to be like, I did it. I met the goal. But doing things for that external validation instead of doing it out of internal alignment costs us a lot. So what I'll be doing today in my group coaching program is really guiding members to how to pinpoint exactly where they're still operating from hustle and what it's costing them so that they can start building a business that sustains them rather than drains them. So what I want you to take away from this is that I want you to decide for yourself right now that you're going to finally stop living in hustle mode and that you're going to build something that is sustainable for yourself. When you do this, everything changes. You'll finally get the opportunity to create space to really be a leader in your business and think about what you want your life and your business to look like. You'll get to rest without feeling guilty. And no, I don't mean hiding in your room watching Netflix for 5 weeks like I did, but like just taking some time off like I did last week in Colorado, resting, taking that downtime that I needed so that I could come back more energized and more inspired and show up for the people that need me in a much better way. And you get to take those creative breaks. It's just, I can't stress enough how important this is. And many of us, hi Brookie, many of us are moms, and those of us who are moms and those of us who are caregivers for our family in other ways, we are often the last people that we take care of. We do so much for other people that we wouldn't do for ourselves. And my whole goal here, my mission, is just to help you shift your mindset and help you choose yourself, give yourself the time and attention that you need, because you will be so much better for everybody else if you allow that spaciousness in your life and in your business. So if you're craving more of this, you can always join me here on Tuesday, 9:30 Central. I go live to do these little mindset chats with you all. But if you're really looking for a sustainable approach to growing your business, shoot me a DM. Just say the word collective. We can chat. I'll see if you're a fit for the program. I would love to have you if growing your business where you can have more money and you can have more business, but most importantly, you can have more peace in your life as an agent. That is what I love to do more than anything else. So DM me the word collective and let's chat if you would like to see if you're a fit for my program. Otherwise, thank you for joining me, and I will see you back here next Tuesday at 9:30 Central. Have a wonderful day.